फिलहाल तो देखते हैं अभी। अभी क्या है करंट स्कोर में क्या है? तो आप लोग जीते कि फिर? सामने वाली टीम कौन सी है? डीसी स्ट्राइकर्स।
All right, so guys, Shakti Fire Riders have won the toss and they have chosen the bowling here. And DC Strikers are coming up for the batting. So on strike here we have Amit Solanki and on strike here we have Mithun on field.
अमित सोलंकी। हाँ हाँ। ये बोलेंगे ना, इनको पता है ना, इनको पता है ना। ये प्लेयर्स के नाम पता है ना आपको? आपके टीम का एक प्लेयर भेज दो ना यहाँ पे। अमित सोलंकी। बॉलर है रेडी टू स्टार्ट।
Umpire ready to go.
कबड्डी खेलने जा रहे क्या? सोलंकी ना उसके लिए रुके हैं। अमित सोलंकी बोल तो दिया, फॉलो कर दिया। हम लोग तो रेडी हो। आओ क्या? स्ट्राइक पे अमित सोलंकी, नॉन स्ट्राइक पे रंजन बियानी।
So Anand is on the bowling. So here we have the striking batsman Amit batsman as Ranjan Biani. हाँ रंजन 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 मियानी। सिंगल रन ना? Single run added on to DC Strikers. That was
आपका अंपायर
साइन तो देना चाहिए कम से कम. So this was a swastik wicket. This was a swastik wicket taken by Anand here for Shakti Fire Riders. Who's the next?
मिथुन. The next batsman is Mithun. Strike.
So on strike here we have Mithun Bhadricha.
अंकित भाई.
Excellent bowling by Anand. So 3 runs by 1 over. So here we have the next bowler coming up, Aditya Patodia.
आदित्य. On strike is Mithun.
And here we have on strike batsman, that's Mithun from DC Strikers. That was a narrow escape. Good bowling by Aditya. Excellent job, guys. White ball.
No ball.
No ball. A nice shot by Mithun for DC Strikers and have added on
One score, right?
1 run to their total. Nice shot. Nice shot by Ranjan Biani, but that was no ball. But still 1 more run added on to their score. So finally DC Strikers ने ये नक्की कर लिया कि वो शॉट पे शॉट देते रहेंगे and they are ready with full energy. Here we have Ranjan Biani on strike and Aditya on bowling position heading on with the next ball. And that is a wicket! Swastik wicket! That's a swastik wicket taken by Aditya Patodia on behalf of Shakti Fire Riders. And here we lost Ranjan Biani from DC Strikers.
Now who's on strike? Batsman? Zainab देखो इधर लिखा है.
Oh my god, this was the swastik wicket once again taken by Aditya on behalf of Shakti Fire Riders. क्या बात है, amazing. Back to back 2 wickets. Amazing. So here we have overreacting Abhishek Katre coming in on strike. And that's one.
Okay, अभी I guess Anand को who's the next? Who's the bowler? अशोक राजपुरे. क्या रन क्या रन को बताओ मेरे को. आनंद ना. 12 रन कितना?
12 runs by 2 overs. Anand Kolvankar on the bowling position, and here we have on strike batsman Mithun Badricha. So Mithun is playing really nice and good on behalf of DC Strikers. बहुत ही अच्छी पारी खेलते हुए मिथुन बहुत ही अच्छा सस्टेन कर रहे हैं for DC Strikers. Once again here we have Abhishek Katre on strike. क्या बात है. One more run added on to DC Strikers. Trying for the second but again stepped back. बिल्कुल पीछे आ चुके हैं. बहुत ही सेफ खेलते हुए DC Strikers. Mithun on strike. Anand is ready to hit with the next ball. That's a shot again. Adding on one more run to DC Strikers here. Anand heading on with the next ball. That was a narrow escape, and this is SNS 6. SNS 6 by Abhishek Katre for DC Strikers. क्या बात है. Amazing. So Anand is heading on with the next ball. Well tried. One more run added on to DC Strikers. Heading on with the next ball towards Mithun on strike. One more run added on to DC Strikers. "23 runs by 3 overs. I repeat, 23 runs by 3 overs. Here we have Pallavi Gandhi coming up as a bowler. Excellent. So Shakti Fire Riders की ओर से मैरी कॉम आ चुकी है. That was a shot. Here we have Abhishek Katre on strike. Pallavi is heading on with the next ball, and again a shot. One more run added on to the total. Declared. Abhishek Katre is ready to hit the next ball, coming all the way from Pallavi. That's a no ball. A shot again, and this is an SNS 6 given by Mithun for DC Strikers. Excellent. मिथुन बहुत ही अच्छा परफॉर्म करते हुए डीसी स्ट्राइकर्स की ओर से, presenting really well and sustaining really nice and good. Pallavi heading on with the next ball, and that's a shot again. With one more run added on to DC Strikers by Mithun, and here we have Abhishek Katre on strike. Pallavi Gandhi heading on with the next ball, and that's a shot again. And here we have one more run added on to DC Strikers. No, that's a dot ball. And this is a swastik wicket taken bowled by Pallavi Gandhi. Caught by Ashok Rajpure And here, DC Strikers have lost their one of the teammates. Here we're going to have the next batsman joining us here as a non-striker. That's Umang Saini from DC Strikers. बहुत ही strong fielding दिखाते हुए Shakti Fire Riders doing a wonderful job. And now on bowling, here we have Ankit Dhaliwala. क्या बात है? So Ankit is all set for the first ball towards on-strike batsman Mithun Badricha, representing DC Strikers. Nice ball. And यहाँ पे एक अच्छा मौका था जो शक्ति फायर राइडर्स ने गवा दिया. But never mind, बहुत ही अच्छी कोशिश. Umang Saini on strike for Strikers. Ankit Dhaliwala is doing a twist bowling. Umang Saini on strike. Ankit Dhaliwala heading towards the next ball, trying to have a wicket. But Ankit Dhaliwala ज़्यादा मौका नहीं दे रहे हैं DC Strikers को. And Ankit Dhaliwala is successful for taking the super duper swastik wicket right here for Shakti Fire Riders, and DC Strikers have lost Umang Saini right here as a player on field, and Mithun Badricha is being sustaining as one of the best players from DC Strikers. अब तक बहुत ही अच्छा खेलते हुए Mithun Badricha. Here we have DC Strikers non-strike batsman Nelson Patel. Here we have bowler Ashok Rajpure from Shakti Fire Riders. 1 run added on to DC Strikers. Ashok Rajpure heading on with the next ball to Nelson Patel, and a close call. Close call. White ball. White ball. One more run added on to DC Strikers. A shot by Nelson Patel. And this is caught by Anand. Excellent job. A swastik wicket taken by Shakti Fire Riders and bowled by Ashok Rajpure. Excellent job done by Shakti Fire Riders, guys. DC Strikers have lost their one more player. And here we have Nilesh Chheda on strike. Ashok Rajpure heading on to the next ball towards Nilesh Chheda from DC Strikers. Nilesh ने बहुत ही अच्छा परफॉर्म किया था हमारे पिछले मैच में. So expecting the best from Nilesh, and Mithun is definitely doing the best. तो देखते हैं मिथुन और नीलेश की जोड़ी कहां तक सरवाइव करती है. That was a close call for Ashok Rajpure. This was SNS sixer by Mithun. White ball. Ashok Rajpure heading on to the next ball, and that's a shot by Mithun. And one more run, one more score added on to DC Strikers. .48 run by 6 overs. I repeat, 48 runs by 6 overs. Here we have Ankit Dhaliwala once again at the bowling point, and here we have Mithun on strike. That's a shot, and one more run added on to DC Strikers here. A very well coordination going on between Mithun and Nilesh. एक्सीलेंट कोऑर्डिनेशन, बहुत ही अच्छा खेलते हुए, बहुत ही अच्छी कॉम्बिनेशन हमें यहां पर दिखाई दे रही है डीसी स्ट्राइकर्स की टीम की ओर से. वन मोर रन एडेड ऑन टू डीसी स्ट्राइकर्स हियर. पूरी कोशिश में अंकित टू टेक आउट द विकेट राइट हियर. One more run added on to DC Strikers. Nilesh on strike. And that's a run out. That's a run out by Anand Kolvankar and bowled by Ankit Deliwala. So, Nilesh Chheda is being moving out back to pavilion. Finally, DC Strikers
म्यूजिक बंद. ओनली 6 and 4 पे म्यूजिक. गुंजन पांडे.
Mithun on strike, and here we have non-strike batsman Gunjan Pandey joining us here on field.
गुंजन पांडे. ये बोल भाई मैं सुनाई देगा. इधर कौन सा पांडे? गुंजन पांडे.
This was a close call for Mithun. But ये बोलना चाहेंगे कि मिथुन बहुत ही अच्छा खेल रहे हैं. He's been really playing well. Come on guys, cheer up for Mithun, everyone. Team members. So here we have Ramandeep Kaur on field for bowling.
ऑन स्ट्राइक कौन है? मिथुन.
Here we,
रमनदीप कौर.
so here we have Ramandeep Kaur for bowling, and here she's heading on to the first ball towards Mithun for DC Strikers.
वाइट बॉल.
Wide ball, and one more run added on to DC Strikers. वाइड बॉल अगेन. रमनदीप को थोड़ा ध्यान देकर ये बॉल आगे पुश करना होगा, बिकॉज आपने 2 रन ऑपोजिट टीम को दे दी हैं.
नो बॉल. नो बॉल. बॉल है यार. बॉल है.
एसएनएस 6 by Mithun for DC Strikers. क्या बात है.
मिथुन का टोटल स्कोर क्या है? मिथुन का क्या है? सिर्फ सिंगल मिथुन का. हाँ.
So Mithun has scored 34 runs for DC Strikers. An excellent performance by Mithun for DC Strikers. Good one, guys. One more run added on to DC Strikers. Good job. Nice fielding by Shakti Fire Riders. Ramandeep heading towards the next ball towards Gunjan Pandey for DC Strikers, and this was, oh my god, and that was a close call. Good bowling, Raman. Keep it up. Last 2 balls to go. One more run added on to DC Strikers. That was a dead ball.
वाइड के लिए रन है ना? हाँ वाइड. डेड के लिए नहीं है ना? डेड और डॉट के लिए नहीं है. नो नहीं है. नहीं है ना. अरे खाली आला बार.
Last ball to go by Ravan. And finally अंकित देलीवाला ने इसे पूरा कर दिया है और मिथुन की इनिंग्स यहीं पर खत्म होती है. Caught by Ankit. Caught by Ankit there. And finally,
ऑल आउट ना 62 ऑल आउट ओवर खत्म क्या रन हुआ है 62 रन बाय 8 ओवर्स
62 runs by 8 overs, 8 wickets. Good job, guys. So finally, DC Strikers are being planning the complete strategy on field for the fielding job right now. And here we have Shakti Fire Riders. Ashok Rajpure on strike, and here we have Dr. Omkar Bilgi. A non-striker batsman. So Mithun is heading on to the very first ball towards Ashok Rajpure. Good one for Mithun. Well tried. Super fast bowling by Mithun. On strike, finally representing Shakti Fire Riders. Here we have Dr. Onkar Bilgi. Dr. Onkar Bilgi is being ready to head on towards the next ball coming up all the way from Mithun. And that's a quick run taken by Shakti Fire Riders. So Mithun is doing a wonderful job by doing a very quick and a twist bowling here towards Ashok. Seems little difficult for Ashok to tackle the ball. So finally here we have Dr. Onkar on strike. Ready to hit the ball, and was a catch. Missed out. Never mind. Could improvise the fielding and plan the tactics. 3 runs by 1 over. So here we have Abhishek Katre coming up for bowling. And Ashok on strike. One more run added on to Shakti Fire Riders. Dr. Onkar on strike. Abhishek Katre ready to hit the next ball. And try to add a shot, but add on one more score to Shakti Fire Riders. 2 runs have added 2 runs to Shakti Fire Riders. DC Strikers आपको थोड़ा एनर्जेटिकली टैकल करना होगा. Come on guys. Ashok is on strike and heading on to the next ball. That was a quick call. So this was overreacting Abhishek Katre.
विकेट डॉट बॉल ये ऐसा विकेट होता है ना एक बॉल बाकी का अच्छा ओवर कितना हुआ डॉट बॉल 8 रन ना 8 रन by 2 overs
8 runs by 2 overs. डीसी स्ट्राइकर्स को थोड़ी अच्छी मेहनत करनी होगी गाइस. So Ranjan Biani is back again for the bowling here and heading on with the very first ball towards Ashok. So one more point added on to. Oh, a miss on behalf of Dr. Onkar. So Ranjan is heading towards the next ball towards Dr. Onkar. A nice shot and added on
one more point
one score to Shakti Fire Riders.
कितना बनाया था इन लोगों ने कितना टू विन था
All right, well tried, DC Strikers, well tried. Dr. Onkar on strike and Ranjan is heading towards the next ball. One more run was added on for the previous score and heading. Dot ball.
क्या बोल रहे हो आप बॉलर बॉलर हाँ 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 ओके क्या बोल रहे हो बराबर अरे नहीं नहीं अप्लाई में कटिंग करो अप्लाई में कटिंग करो मैंने बोला है पार्टी को सामने वो सनबूट नहीं चलेगा अरे उसको लगने दो चलेगा उनको अप्लाई में चाहिए सामने वाले इवेंट वाले हैं वो लोग ने मांगा है तो वो देना ही है अभी अपने पास वो उनसे अप्रूवल चेंज कराने का भी टाइम नहीं है इसके लिए नहीं तो मैं करवा देता था और आज का ही दिन है उनको मेरे को रात को डिलीवरी देना है 9 बजे इसके लिए बॉलिंग पे कौन है जैनब
So Zainab is heading towards the next ball and Ashok is having the next one more run added on to Shakti Fire Riders. Dr. Onkar Bilgi on strike. Zainab is heading towards the next ball. Lovely. क्या बात है. That's a swastik wicket. Not out. Not out. Good catch by Ranjan Biani. Excellent job for DC Strikers.
Not out.
So that's not out. Dr. Vodka, congratulations, you're still on field. Oh, very smart escape. Dr. Unka once again on strike. And umpire, that's not out, right? Zainab heading towards the next ball towards Dr. Unkar for Shakti Fire Riders and added on one more run towards their score. 22 runs by 4 overs. 22 run by 4 overs. Here we have Nilesh Cheda on bowling and Dr. Onkar on strike. Heading on with the very first ball. That's an SNS sixer by Dr. Onkar for Shakti Fire Riders. Nilesh is doing a wonderful job. So Nilesh and Mithun, they are the best players and the finest players for DC Strikers. Heading on towards the next ball and one more run added on to Shakti Fire Riders. So finally, 3 runs added on to Shakti Fire Riders. Good job, guys. Excellent. DC Strikers will have to really make it really quick and fast. Missed out. One more run added on to Shakti Fire Riders. One more ball and that's a shot again. SNS sixer. SNS sixer by Dr. Onkar on strike for Shakti Fire Riders. So 40 runs by 5 overs. So once again here we have Abhishek Katre on bowling. Heading on towards the very first ball for Ashok Rajpure. Let's go. And that's a swastik wicket. That's a swastik wicket taken by overreacting Abhishek Katre for DC Strikers. Ashok Rajpure has lost the field here, and here we have the second player joining in from Shakti Fire Riders. That's Ankit Deliwala. And on strike here we have Dr. Onkar. Abhishek Katre is all set on behalf of DC Strikers to head on towards the next ball. Let's go. One more run added on to Shakti Fire Riders. And that is SNS 6 by Ankit Deliwala for Shakti Fire Riders. क्या बात है. SNS 6 superb. SNS 6 back to back second SNS 6 by Ankit Deliwala for Shakti Fire Riders. Excellent performance by Ankit Deliwala. Good job. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होता हुआ मैच. वाइड बॉल. Nine runs to win, and once again here we have Mithun on bowling position and Dr. Onkar on strike. 9 runs to win. Seems easier for Shakti Fire Riders to score 9 runs here. So one more run added on to Shakti Fire Riders. 8 runs to win. That's Pooja Bagaria's 4.
Dr. Onkar was on strike, na? Ankit.
So Ankit Deliwala has given us Pooja Bagaria's 4. For Shakti Fire Riders, and that's a white ball. Only 3 runs to win. And there was Pooja Bagaria's 4 by Ankit Deliwala for Shakti Fire Riders, and very well an amazing match done by Shakti Fire Riders. और सक्सेसफुली अपने मैच को एक फाइनल पोजीशन पर पहुंचाकर वो जीत चुके हैं इस मैच को अगेंस्ट DC Riders.